Episode 10.
This is episode 10, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, we
episode
have
10.
to open with a episode 10.
Double
Um,
digits.
10 digits.
Episode.
Can we do cuz we're like in a like Aaron's on my top left.
Oh, I'm in like a straight line. I've got everybody in a straight line.
Okay. So, here's how we're going to do it. Richard, you're going to put one arm up. And then Aaron, you're going to put your arm up as well.
No. You just want me to whip out the big wiener.
All right. Oh shit, let me get in focus here. But yeah, so hold one arm up. Aaron, you do the same. You hold an arm up. Okay, so that's the one. And then I'm gonna do the bottom of the zero, and you're gonna do the top of the zero, Mark. Like going like this.
I have to.
Yeah, just stand up and go like this.
Wait, yeah. Pretend you're Okarun, like trying to tell Momo his balls are gone.
That's true. Oh yeah,
Yeah. If
Do I have to do it like this?
I kind of we need to see your face a little bit.
Oh shit! Hold on. I have to move my fucking chair. Hold on. I have to move my chair. My fucking camera doesn't have an unzoom option.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
that is kind of crazy. That doesn't have.
All right, I'm just gonna.
Hold on. I might have to do it like this.
This like works out because my arms are fully extended up.
That's true. Extendo.
Extendo.
Yeah, hold on. I might have to. I have to do it like. Holy no! I might have to go down here.
Hey, you gotta go down.
Oh, he's going down.
Oh, wait. See, dude, how the fuck is this shit so zoomed in, bro? Oh my! I had to put my shit down here. You can almost see the. Oh my god. Oh, I have to kneel down too.
Get on your knees.
Get on your knees, brother.
Dude, it's so fucking zoomed in. Hold on, I have to.
Alright.
Wait.
Yeah.
Let me move my fucking chair further. Oh, my tissue box. Oh no.
Hey, what the tissues for?
Throw the fucking sock over there.
Alright.
Is this close enough? I have to.
Oh, wait, Richard's left. Is it better if I do it this side?
What if I do
no,
it
do
like
your
this?
other arm. Do your other arm.
There you go.
There you go. Alright.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
And then we're just gonna
Okay.
freeze frame like this, and the intro's gonna start like boom.
Okay.
Hey,
All
we're
right.
recording right now.
Yes.
Screenshotting this.
All right, we're good.
Oh, we got it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What if I turn on my ass?
We're just gonna
now?
clip that. We're just gonna clip that.
Yeah, we're just gonna. That's gonna be the intro right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
that'll
welcome
be
to
the
Deck
intro.
Swabbers, everyone.
Deck Swabbers!
Number 10.
Number 10.
I can't
10.
count.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Mark's camera.
All right.
Oh,
All right. Yeah, number 10. Holy shit. Hey, I
We
know
made
we're,
it.
we're 3 weeks late, but the thing is, it's like it kind of makes up for the fact that we did 2 episodes back to back, I think, one time.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah. So it's you
Yeah,
know,
so we're right on time. Don't yell.
20
at
to
us.
21 weeks, right?
Yeah. It's on good timing.
Mm-hmm. Which is, kind of crazy that, we can reflect on, 10, 20 weeks ago, which is like when? Middle of the
When we
summer?
Content creation journey together.
Yeah. Which is like,
Beautiful, handsome men I want to gobble up like Thanksgiving turkey.
Andrew.
Yeah. I'm really glad that we decided to go on this journey. Episode 10. Not that many people get to episode 10 on whatever they're doing, so.
No, man. No.
Yeah.
This is absolute facts.
Yeah, hopefully we get to make many more episodes, right? And we
That's true.
get to just yap
Oh,
about
we
One
will, bro.
Piece, right?
Bro, it's always a good time yapping about One Piece with you guys, for real.
It always is a good time yapping about One Piece with everyone.
Yeah.
All
Love
right.
you guys.
So, let's get to it. First things first. It is the first week of OP09, officially.
Yes, officially.
Holy shit.
yeah.
It has been a week.
It
feel
has
like,
been a week.
The set is shaping up pretty interestingly. I mean, we haven't gotten to see a lot of like the meta for our meta yet because like we haven't had the first like official like Bandai tournament
Regional,
or anything.
yeah.
Like we haven't had the first official regional using this set. That'll happen this weekend, I think. If there are any, I think there are like some online regionals that are going to take
Oh
place.
yeah.
I
When
think
is Nats actually?
but I think it's in
Is it
January.
January? Oh, okay.
It's
So
in
yeah,
January.
it'll be a
Yep.
little bit more realized. Then.
Well, I think we will be like almost exactly 1 month into OP09 when Nats comes around.
Mm-hmm.
So people have some time. People have some time to kind of adjust to this meta and see like what truly is like best deck in format or like what's the rock paper scissors if we have a rock paper scissors format or anything like that. And I kind of feel like this format is kind of rock paper scissorsy, but then like everything else underneath it is like not bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I feel this set like you can kind of play whatever you want. I think now there are probably like a few gatekeeper decks. Like I think Blackbeard is like kind of like a gatekeeper for a
Mm.
lot of decks because like so many decks rely on their on plays, and even like a lot of off meta decks just kind of rely on like the good stuff, like the good stuff cards, and a lot of good stuff cards just so happen to be on plays. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so
Like
as
Gecko Moria.
Gakkamori, yeah. As someone who's been,
Mariah.
I've been playing Blackbeard this whole week, and
yeah,
you know, to the attorney, our good friend Brandon put it very eloquently. Playing Blackbeard is like cock and ball torture on your homie. It's it's fucking. And when he
Oh
said
my
when he
God.
said that, like I flashed back to all the games that I had with all you guys before like tourneys and such, and it's just like, oh my god, it really is. It's just, it's terrible.
it does. It's not a fun deck to play against because it's just kind of like I understand when someone wants to play it, and if that's their form of fun, you know, that's totally fine. It's just like I think they have to understand that that is not always fun for the opponent because it just removes a part of the game.
Yeah.
It's which is like really interesting, right? Because like in other card games, when you have cards like that where like stuff like Blackbeard where it would like shut something down, right? Or like negate the activation,
Mm-hmm.
you should be able to interact with that, right?
Yeah.
But One Piece is such a game created around you do your thing, I do my thing. And like the most interaction we have is like through counters and triggers and stuff like that. For the most part, you don't like play on your opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I think like that's such a big thing for Blackbeard that like really turns people off from it or like makes them really unhappy when they play against the deck is that there's no way to stop your opponent from doing the Blackbeard thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell your opponent,
Hey, don't
"Hey,
do that.
you can't activate that ability this turn." There's no way to make them not do it. You know what I mean? If
There
your
is
opponent
one
I
way you
mean,
can do it though.
there
You
is
slip
one
them
way, but it
$5
makes the game take
across the
10.
table.
Slip them a five real quick.
Oh,
Hey, this
true.
turn, let me get my own plays.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
it really is. Oh gosh, because being a Luigi player for like the past two sets and then hopping onto Blackbeard for this set, it's just like it's such a different way of playing too. Because you yourself don't have on plays either, and it's just like okay, well, do I have? It feels very linear, right? Like I feel like other
Yeah,
decks
bless you.
in the past have been very linear, right? Like I remember GP Doffy being super linear. Like, oh, do you have your curve? Yes, play your curve, play your curve, play your 10 drops, 10 drops, 10 drops,
Yeah.
and do gold Tesoro if you have gold Tesoro, right? Draw cards, win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then this is like I think this is an overall a meta thing as well. It's like this meta is once again the 10 drops are king, right? Everyone's trying to get to their 10 drops. You know, Buggy's trying to get to 10 drop Buggy. Shank's trying to get 10 drop Shanks. Blackbeard's trying to get 10 drop Blackbeard. If Yellow's still around, 10 drop Big Mom, right? It's just
or Ace.
or Ace, yeah, Ace trying to get to their higher drops as well. It's just it's a very familiar meta in the sense of like, okay, I know what to do. I just need to play on curve, play bodies out as Blackbeard, play my 10 drops, hope to win the game, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like I'm thinking too hard. It doesn't feel like I need to, think about my grave, think about my, what cards I have in hand that I can combo with too much. I'm like, oh, okay, if I Tempest Kick here and I get lucky and get an Ice Age here, minus there with Lucci, right? And
Yeah.
it's not, like, I joke with Blackbeard, it's like, okay, I have Laboon and I have Doc Q, you have a 5-drop character, alright, put on the DJ headphones, start jamming out, twist him around, and he's dead. Like, yeah, it's such a weird play style, but at the same time, it's a little bit exciting. Well, probably because I've just been playing the same deck for the past 2 formats, and now kind of thinking about hopping back on Lucci, just because it's, it still has a place in the meta, right? It's not a bad deck by any means. Sure, it can get shut down by Blackbeard, but it's it's Gecko Moria is still a card against every other match.
Yeah.
So
it is a card.
It is a card.
It is
still.
a card.
But what about you two, right? What are you guys' thoughts on this meta so far, and what have you guys been playing too, right?
I've been playing a lot of Ace actually because I don't know. I actually think that it's a pretty decent deck as a red deck, and red got a lot of support this set in terms of what is it? We got Gold Roger now.
Hell yeah.
Dude, we got so much like cool stuff for red that's like I think is severely underrated, and I think that like it gets to benefit from the fact that like you get to trash events from your hand, and so when you're in a battle of like, no, I play big boy, you get to just play round table minus 10k, and if you're playing against Blackbeard, you get to play Seaquake to kill their 10-drop like Teach, and then if you're playing against anything else like against Shanks, you just get to swing 5 into a 2k 2k powered Shanks. You're just like, nice. Feels pretty good. And if you really don't want to swing at it, you can also Seaquake it, right? And so that's been pretty fun for me. The hardest part about it right now though is kind of just navigating like when you should be like forcing your opponent to take life, and knowing when to starve them and everything. That's been like the hardest part for me, because when, like I said, I am a red player, so I kind of just want to go zoom and just watch my opponents like fall. But you unfortunately can't play that way in every single matchup, and you gotta know when to take it slower, and that's definitely been a challenge for me.
Yeah, I think because we did a little bit of playtesting just now on Lucci against Ace, but it's just like Ace is still a spooky deck to play against. You don't expect it. You're just like, oh, okay, high drop here, and it's like, all right, 7-drop Ace, Crossfire, or Round Table. It's just like, oh, it's Shanks, but on crack.
I mean, even as like a rush down deck, it's not terrible, right? Like if you're playing Ace, like you could what is that? The 5-drop Ace that has rush, and then the 7-drop Ace that has rush, and then and then you can play like 10-drop Shanks in the deck if you feel like it, which has rush. Or if you want to just play Gold D Roger and be like, damn, you're at 0? Crazy.
That's absolutely diabolical. You just eradicate your opponent. It's pretty nasty.
I feel like
it can happen.
I still haven't, gotten into my brain that's like, oh, I put a red player to 0, I'm probably dead.
Yeah.
10-drop Roger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mark, what about you? What have you been playing?
I've been playing Shanks. I feel as if it's very good into the meta. One, very unlucky, don't see the cards I need to see, but granted I only own 1 Rayleigh, so that's why I need 2 other Rayleighs. List is very weird because obviously there's lists that run Searcher and there's not lists that lists that run less searchers. There are little to no searchers, and the means to be able to run a bigger top end to match whatever the meta comes with them with, which is what I'm doing. In practice, it's good, but I'm noticing that it's very bricky. It's very hard. Like, there's a very strict deviation between playing the deck as a control deck to mid range. and I'm trying to find that right balance. I'm trying to find it to play for my playstyle because I prefer to play control, like as if it's black. Like I know I should probably just play black, but the issue is Blackbeard. Blackbeard turns off on plays, and it's this weird limbo of like, okay, I'll play deck A because I have a good matchup into Blackbeard, but then I also want to play deck B that also has a good matchup spread but loses to Blackbeard. So it's like hard. It's very hard, but I think with some time and development of the meta, people will realize what the cards and tech choices would become for what feels like almost like a triangle format.
Mm-hmm.
Because it definitely feels as if like yeah, going back to rock paper scissors, where it's the top three. Like okay, could I beat Shanks? Check. Could I beat Blackbeard? Check. Could I beat Dofi? Check. And going back to the BDIF that Dofi is I think it's still one of like the most contended decks for like overall consistency because consistency, widespread removal, and it doesn't entirely rely on plays, but enough to be able to spread boards that way you could check white Blackbeard.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I compared to OP 8.5, this is a lot better. Because I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, it felt so oppressive to play literally any deck into BY. And BY was just running rampant. Now BY is at least locally non-existent almost. I think BY would still pop up because it's still BY.
Still a
It's just
really
gonna
good
be
deck.
harder for it to top because of Blackbeard. But very much depends on how many people are playing Dofi to check Blackbeard. So going back to being a triangle with like between those lines, there's some outliers.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's like just a sign of a really healthy meta. Honestly, it's not. You know, is there a BDIF at the moment? I mean, one can't really tell because every deck has like something that checks it, right? There's no, oh, this one deck is the best one. It can beat every
Yeah.
single thing, including BY. It's like, no, not really. Blackbeard gets rushed down. Shanks can, brick very easily. BY can get negated their own plays. What is it? Doffy can get, decimated by Lucci and removal. Or on plays as well, because the whole deck is on plays. And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's a very healthy meta. I feel like, we can segue into our next topic here, about how Blackbeard, being such a meta-defining leader, right? How he's shaping this meta, in a sense, right? It's, it's very cool how this one card now is going to be defining a lot of things coming forward, and we can sort of see it in OP10 in the East right now, and how people are playing in that meta. But Blackbeard is definitely one of those cards that it's like, hey, can this new leader be meta when this other leader exists?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any thoughts on you guys about that?
Oh.
Yeah, I think that it all just comes down to like like the people's preference of what they like to play, really. I think I mean, like we've been saying just now, like even Ace having decent viability into the meta, right? It's just, I feel like that really is dependent on what people are choosing to play. Not that I'm running around sniping people at locals, but I mean like low key, low key. I mean,
Hey, do you know
I
this
mean,
funny little card from OP1 called Roundtable?
exactly, right? It's a little bit of cheese, but I mean, we've seen time and time again in flagships and in OP10 flagships and OP9, like what we consider to be, fairly random decks are like, whoa, that topped, or that that did well. Like that's kind of crazy. We see it a lot, and so I think that like despite how strong we think certain cards or certain leaders will be, that there'll always be like just the little sleeper guy, little sleeper picks here and there that'll skate by, and you're like, hey, hold on,
Maybe
how'd that happen?
maybe instead of
How'd that
building
guy get here?
Lucci, I should just build RP Kid.
Hey,
Hey, I mean, hey, we've been saying it, you should do
I have
it.
been saying it.
I'll need to look up a list. See if
You gotta try it. You gotta try it.
I think it's cool as hell.
it really
It's
is.
Wow.
I mean,
Very
I feel like the
Okay.
concept of the deck of just like, hey, minus Dawn to make your leader stronger is like pretty cool.
It's not
yeah.
not terrible, and then the new support that came out for it is like definitely makes it more viable.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, like some cards from like OP01 as well, you know, the 2-drop Sanji.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are using 2-drop Sanji in there. I mean, it's one of the better cards in the deck. It's just another card that you can help rush down with. That also, like, if your opponent is starving you or something, and you're just like, well, I just need to take my own life really quick.
Yeah.
Because what, you need to take 2 life? You need to take 2 life before you can.
I believe so. Yeah, because it's if your leader's at 4 life or higher, then it's a 4K
Okay.
during your turn.
Yeah. So you need to take 2 damage before you can. But obviously, your opponent's not going to hit you on that first hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just going to be like, why would I get you closer to your goal of being a 5K leader and then 6K with the -1?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So, no, I get that.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the meta? Right.
Oh,
Right
I
now?
totally forgot to bring up Richard too. I was surprised you didn't bring it up as Floofy.
Floofy, baby!
I definitely think Floofy.
I was about to do it right now.
Oh yeah, I'll let the Floofy Bay take the light. Go ahead, go ahead.
Blooper
Yeah.
man.
I think Floofy's at a good place in the meta right now.
Yeah.
He's
I
always at
think
a
it
good place
has
in the
like
meta, isn't he?
I think it's one of those decks that's just like you kind of have answers for like anything. Like you're playing against Shanks. If you hit them with that if you hit them with that PCP Luffy, if you hit them with the perfect curve Luffy, if you hit them with the perfect curve, they're dead. Like
That's what happened to me.
I've played that match, and like I played against a buddy of ours, Brandon Tang, recently. Shout outs to Kuro TCG.
Shout out to Kuro.
I played against him recently in a tournament last week, and there was a play that I made that I personally think was like a fine play. It just I needed to top deck something specifically, and I think I just would have won the match from there had I had like now I committed to the play with cards I didn't have yet. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I do that a lot. I do that a lot. I make plays with cards that don't exist. So like I do this thing a lot, especially in Ploofy. I do it a lot because I'm gonna draw 2 cards.
I'll
I'm gonna draw
definitely
2
draw it this
cards.
time.
The card is definitely there. So I really needed to hit like a second Luffy Taro into like another target or like a 9-drop Luffy, and I would have just like stolen the entire game. I was already kind of pressuring his life, and then he was getting to a point where like the next turn was his 8-drop turn, and I was like, okay, he's probably gonna play like a Rayleigh or something, right? So I need to like put the pressure on his life. So like I started swinging with my like Luffy Taro and I don't remember if I had a San Goro or if it was a Zorojiro. Doesn't really matter. 6K body.
Mhm.
But I had no, I think it was a San Goro because I had a Zorojiro on board already. And then I pass and this is before his 8 Dawn turn, so he's on 6, and he like attaches like a bunch of Dawn to his leader and swings at my Zorojiro. I think he swung at it for like 10. I think he swung at it for like 10, and my brain was like, man, what if I counter? So I countered. I countered two 2Ks and a 1K, and I was just like, you know what? I was just like, I'm gonna give it to him because I think I was literally like, if I draw another Luffy Taro right now, because I had like the cards to play off of it, I just didn't have another Luffy Taro, or a 9-drop Luffy, which was a 2 of in my deck. I was like, okay, there are 5 cards in my deck that I can draw here, and I've already seen a lot of the cards in my deck because I've already searched a couple times, and I know that I haven't like bottom decked any of these guys.
Mhm.
So I was like, odds are I might find it. So I countered, and then I didn't find it.
Oh,
I,
no.
I countered and I didn't find it, and all I had was a 9-drop mom. Realistically, I think instead of playing a 9 mom, I could have like just gone harder into his life
Hmm.
and maybe just like put him to 0. because I think I had enough. I had like a lot. I had a lot of power on my board already, and I could have just like really pushed for damage. That way, no matter what 8-drop he plays, it's just not impactful enough, right? But I made the play that I made, and I had to stick to it. So, unfortunately, I ended up losing that game. I played the 9-drop mom, and then a Rayleigh came down, and it ruined my day, and I was not a fan.
Man.
Got rid of like 2 guys on my board, and then like the rest of my board was like kind of like lackluster after that. And then
Exposed.
I got killed by a dragon on like the consecutive turn after that, and it was not great. Um, but it was a good game either way. It was a good game. But from what I've seen so far, as I've played like multiple games in this meta and like against multiple of the decks that are going to be good this meta, Shanks, Dofi, and Blackbeard. I just feel like it's one of the decks that you just have to mulligan for different hands in each of those games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you just play differently in all of them. And I think it's really just like a learning curve of like, oh, okay, I drew this hand. Oh, this hand's good against Shanks. Mole, I need the hand that's good against Blackbeard, please.
Yeah.
Like, let me see like all 4 drops and all 5 drops, and then I'm good and I'll play against Blackbeard. And then it's like Shanks, you need the perfect curve. And then it's like Dofi, you want like mostly counter. You want like mostly counter and then maybe like a Luffy Taro into Sangoro, but you want like mostly counter. So it's like I don't know. It's an interesting format. I think Luffy's in a good place. It got a lot of support. Got a lot of
Mm-hmm.
support. 7-drop Sandry, 9-drop Luffy, and then the MVP of it all, Gum Gum Giant.
Gum Gum
That
Giant.
card's
Such a
absurd.
crazy card.
Probably one of the most absurd cards to be released in quite some time. Hey man, remember when they limited Rad Beam? Remember when Rad Beam was limited?
Bro, don't remind me.
I remember when Rad Beam was limited.
It's
Now we
crazy.
have Rad Beam that discards 1 and draws 2.
That's
Very
crazy.
I don't know, man. Rad Beam that cycles your hand is like kind of insane. Like
pretty nice.
imagine if you just got to discard 2/2Ks and those 2/2Ks said draw 2 cards. That's basically what it does.
Disgusting.
It's
Absolutely
kind of
disgusting.
it's
That
kind
is
of
so
insane.
nasty.
Cards like really ridiculous, and it just lets you filter out your non. I think it's probably the best card in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
We
having a
all
lot
went
of
a
fun
little bit wide at it because he
playing.
cut out for a little bit. But, oh.
I thought my internet was cutting out. Yeah, I was like, hello, hello.
Oh lol.
I was like,
Huh?
internet.
No, it's
It's
gotta
like
be
in
my
those
shit.
what
Wait,
is
which
it?
line?
Zoom calls where it's like, so yeah, in the progress report over here.
And then this is where I disconnect when my teacher says the internet was out. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Class over.
No what?
Yeah. I want
No,
to.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to segue into something else, right? Because
Oh yeah, go
Bluffy
ahead.
is one of those good stuff decks, right? You mentioned
I
that.
love it.
Yeah, and
Good stuff.
good stuff, right? Which I think you guys can figure out what I'm trying to get towards to,
Oh
right?
yeah.
EB02, which is,
My gosh.
I feel like compared to EB01, right? It's got 6 crazy cards in there, right? That
Wacky little cards.
it's 6 little wacky little cards. Maybe don't pay attention to them at all. They just let you search any 4-drop or higher in your color that you search it for.
Oh no. It's so much worse though, because they're not color locked. So if you play the yellow one and you're in a dual color deck, you don't have to grab a yellow card.
Mm.
It's so much more absurd. So if you're playing a dual color good stuff deck, you could play 8 cards that say grab any 4-drop or higher.
Which is like, could
And
you
it's
imagine?
trigger activate main.
It's trigger activating too, which is insane.
It's trigger activate main. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
I feel like I put out a poll actually. Let me pull it up on the Deck Swabbers account. When we first saw these,
I saw cards real.
when we first saw these card reveals, let's see.
I
Gotta-
think these cards are absurd. They're a little too ridiculous in my opinion.
And it's like,
But
but with the revealed generic searches for every color, what are your guys' thoughts on how these cards will shape the flow of play in One Piece? And no one voted that it's going to stay the same. This is definitely going to change the game, for sure. The game's going to get faster. A couple people voted that these cards suck, actually. And I put a fourth choice saying that good stuff decks rejoice, because that's literally what these cards do. Like, it's gonna make Bonnie a lot more consistent. It's gonna make Enel a lot more consistent. It's gonna make Pluffy hella consistent. You can run your Kaidos. You can run your Kalgara.
Kalgara, true.
Oh, because you can search. You can search
Nolan is searchable.
Nolan.
Nolan is searchable.
Oh, you're right.
But it's like, I guess there's an argument to be done against the searchers, right? When it's like, if you're, say, Blackbeard, right? Would you really run that in Blackbeard when you already have full
Your whole
Aled,
deck is
Hachinosu,
searchable.
Honeycomb, whatever?
Yeah. You have 3 searchers.
Yeah, you have
Hachinosu,
3
fucking
searchers.
Lafayette,
Stage,
fucking My
Lafitte,
Era.
and My Era, yeah.
Yeah.
So you
The
don't
deck
need
is way
that.
too consistent.
Deck is very consistent. But in other decks, like I said, with Bonnie, you can run a very diverse. You have a very diverse high end with 9/11 Shanks, Hody, Hody, 10-drop Daffy, and you already ran Baby 5 and Bonnie to search your deck, but you still had those non-hits, right? They had to rely on drawing into them, either in your opening hand, on top decks, or on life, right?
Yeah.
So,
Hody and Shanks never searchable, so it's just kind of like those 2 cards being searchable changes a ton for that deck.
it really does.
I think Hody is probably the biggest one in my opinion.
Mhm.
Unless I wonder though, is it? Maybe it is the Shanks, but I'm not 100% certain. I feel like it's Hody.
In a battle for Kaijus in top end, I think it's Shanks. But if you're playing like against a lot of control decks where you kind of need to just finish the game as soon as possible because you don't have a board for 3 turns, it's Hody, right? So
Does
return.
Hody have rush, or is it an on play
He
rush?
has innate rush.
No, he has an 8 rush, yeah.
so
so
he's just innate. Okay.
Yeah.
The on play
So-
is take a life, rest 2 things to Don or 2 characters or Don character mixture.
Hody
So
against what is his name? Blackbeard is kind of fun.
Wait.
I don't have to lose a life.
You actually just play it on 7. Like if you have no
Yeah.
other play, like
Yeah.
or if you don't have Hawkins, you're just like Odie, and they're like, oh, I didn't think he played.
They're like, wait, he didn't lose a life?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty nice. We were doing a lot of playtesting the other day, just doing a lot of theory crafting and playtesting, trying to apply it all. And I think that like there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff in the OP09. I don't know how much I'll get to play, but I mean, hopefully I'll be in there.
Man. We
Hopefully
want
I'll
to
be
see
in
your
the
ace
trenches.
top, dude.
Ah,
You can
okay.
do it.
It's hard.
Real quick, this is going to be a little bit of a small segment. I want to see your guys' opinion on this. So, we're all aware of Usopp's effect from OP09, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
This is like a small segment, just a judge segment, because
Oh,
this is kind of tough.
can we be judges?
Yeah, can we be judges? Because
gotcha.
I can't rule this out myself. This
Uh-huh.
is pretty interesting. So, Usopp says that any of your Dressrosa characters 2 cost or higher are buffed by 1 level. So think of any 4/6 Dressrosa. So I primarily we're gonna think about Cavendish, the new one that comes out.
4-drop 6K that will become a 5-drop 6K on the
that
field.
become a 5-drop.
Uh-huh.
So say your opponent has a few of buff, like a lowering effect that lowers it by 3. So i.e. would be Ishio with
Okay.
the Dawn attached.
Mhm.
So would it be 3 still or 2? Because Ishio said it lowers it by 3. It's and it becomes a 2. Does that mean, or well, okay, so yeah, it's a 5 cost right now. You minus it by 3, it's a 2. Does that mean it goes to 1 because your Usopp says anything that's higher than 2 cost or less than Dressrosa?
Oh.
So what is the checkpoints on that?
So So I think my opinion here is that they probably should have worded the card better. If they wanted it to be the way, if they wanted it to be the way where it's not a one, they should have worded it that any card with an original cost of two or has
Mm-hmm.
+1 cost, right? But
Yes.
since they didn't word it as original cost, one could assume that it would go to a one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't looked into those rulings. From my standpoint, like it would feel like that's correct,
Yeah.
but that's a tough one as a judge, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm a judge for One Piece, and even that kind of that like throws me for a loop. As a
Yeah.
judge, like if I had to give a snap ruling on that, and someone asked me, and
I would say one as well.
I had no time to look it up, I would just say one because the card does not say
Mm-hmm.
original cost. Now,
Yeah.
if they changed the text and they updated it to say that any card with an original cost of such and such is raised by one, then sure, it's a two.
Yeah.
But
That would make the
with
most sense.
I feel like you should always go rules as written in most card games, and I kind of hate that like sometimes it's like not rules as written, which is super dumb. But um tell me though, what I assume the ruling has been answered. I haven't really
Because
looked
It
into
hasn't
it.
I
been
feel
yet.
like
It
it
hasn't.
hasn't.
It
It
hasn't been. No,
hasn't? Oh
no.
wow.
So
So it
It's
sparks
fresh.
debate.
it's
It's a
it's
debate, huh?
yeah.
Hmm.
This came up. What was it yesterday? Somebody pointed out that if you were to Ice Age Cavendish and put it to 0, then it would become a one, or it wouldn't become a one cost. It would stay a 0 cost because
Wow.
There's no effect to check anyway, too, because
because
there's no
the
condition.
yeah, because the check on Usopp is that there's a 2 cost or higher, but if Cavendish goes to 0, then it can't. There isn't like you were
Anything to
saying,
check,
because
yeah.
there's no condition that says 2 costs or higher. Dresser as a character's game +1. It's a 0
Mhm.
cost.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then Dragonautica, the Flying Judgment, was like, okay, but what about Isho? And he was the one that posed this question,
Yeah.
and he
Mhm.
I believe he sent an email or something
For Bandai?
asking, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. Try to kind of get in contact
I
and
think they
see,
should have
because
just updated the text.
Yeah.
I feel like that
probably
would be maybe their intended effect is that anything with that was original printing 2 and above, but because it didn't print it that way, it
Yeah.
can't be
But
interpreted as such.
I am such a big rules as written instead of rules as intended, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because the
So
game is very specific, especially when it comes to certain effects like Lucky
Yeah.
Roo. It specifies base costs, and because it
Yeah,
specifies
Mhm.
that's what
that,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
like the
game
game is
has been
specific
so
enough.
specific, so why
Yeah.
wouldn't it be specific with Usopp? That doesn't make
Exactly.
sense.
It's very vague, and it goes back to the fact that like, okay, if it's gonna be stuck this way in terms of card design, how are we gonna instate checkpoints to this like scenario?
Mm,
Because what checkpoints would matter as to what is gonna be able to resolve? So obviously, being checkpoint one is a condition is met, but also it's conflicting with two conditions are entering the checkpoint, but both of them aren't leaving. That's the issue
Mm-hmm.
because
yeah.
one is saying that it's going to lower and it'll stay that, while the other is saying, well, I'm also between these two levels, so do I
Yeah.
go back or do I go out? So
Like,
it's a very weird ruling.
what takes priority
What takes
here? Leader
precedence?
ability
Yeah,
or character ability?
exactly, exactly. It goes to that because there's no like differentiation yet, but I mean, granted, with the email to
and
Bandai, there's going to be some like specifications.
I think there
Yeah.
was also like the there's like a sequencing for it
Mm-hmm.
for like automatic like
Trigger
effects that,
conditions,
yeah, and versus like
ignition
trigger conditions.
effects.
Yeah, it's literally getting into like Yu-Gi-Oh territory where it's like this is an ignition effect, this is a continuous, this is like a permanent,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah. Yeah.
permanent
I mean,
versus
it's
like a
already been
speculative.
getting that way, right? We've
Yeah.
already
Yeah,
been
but it's
reaching
like
that level.
even yeah, but like most people in general don't really need to know those
Don't get
things.
me into timestamps and Magic the Gathering. One of the most annoying things in the game.
I'm on stack 5. I have
My eyes twitching.
Here
But
at
yeah,
Bandai, we
like
actually want to implement the stack onto One Piece now.
No,
yeah.
timestamps is one of the dumbest things in Magic the Gathering. It's so funny.
But yeah, I think the consensus was that it's like because it's like if you're the Isho, if you have the Isho on board, it's your turn. It's kind of like your effects, like I think it was something along the lines of
Your
like your
effects take
effects take
priority.
precedent, yeah, because of that. And so it's like, oh, like Usopp is only checking like essentially in response to the fact that Isho is now lowering the cost of this card by 3, or something. It's like something like that, where it's like now
Yeah.
it's a 1 cost. I didn't fully read
So-
it and enough to like understand the specifics of like what is getting checked and when and in what order, but like I said, I believe it's something like that. But until we get that full on confirmation, even that's just like a guess.
Yeah.
The most educated, specific guess you could have of
That
of
is
that.
tricky. Just trying to think like, yeah, it's a 4 cost, but Usopp's
it's
ability
not.
makes it 5, but yet Isho
Yeah.
makes the cost go. It's like what takes priority?
Yeah,
I think it's a matter of
exactly.
priority at that point.
Mhm.
Does the leader ability take priority, or does the Isho ability take priority?
I'm a
It-
math guy.
it's-
Isho lowers it more, so it's a 1 cost.
This is that meme of the two guys yelling at each other and the guy with his head turned back where he's like where he's just like, I lower. I play the card.
I play card.
It's hard, yeah. That's a very intriguing ruling, and I'd like to assume that it's going to go to okay, it stays the cost because its original cost is now lowered, and it's because of a condition a condition is overriding it. It remains that original cost to
Well,
where
to be
instead
like,
of it.
there's some sort of like steps that you can. It's like, okay, so if you actually do Ice Age and put it down to 5, and then the ability doesn't go up anymore, but then actually if you do -1 and then another -3 and then it's like, what the fuck?
Shit.
Yeah, no, this is so weird because it's like we don't have anything else to really compare it to except like Jack, right? Where it's like in my mind, if you are lowering Jack by 3 with Isho, right? It's like it's an 8 cost now, right?
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't check again and then go, "Oh, I'm getting lowered." Add another 4 cost on top of it, right? Or add another however much cost in order to get me back to 11, right? It's just
It's very awkward.
this card gains +4 cost. So who knows? Honestly, I don't care. I'm gonna play Usopp, and if somebody says
Yeah.
something, I'm gonna be like, actually,
I
it's
love
a 2
Black
cost.
Blue.
It's a 2 cost. And honestly, like 2 costs is with the sweet spot, anyways, right? For like other black decks, where it's just like, oh, now I'm gonna Lucci kill it.
There's
Yeah.
some instances where
Yeah,
it may
like-
pop up, but I definitely think the ruling won't affect it too much unless it happens into like a higher level event. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very of the mind where
That
it's
is-
like it's like.
That is a very
Whatever.
interesting, like, situation there.
Yeah,
Definitely
I
veered
wanted
off
to see
the-
your guys' opinions on that.
Fuck the CBL
I kinda
researchers.
get-
Let's look at this.
So I was reading. I just started reading through the thread right now a little bit, and yeah, it was giving off like very like timestampy vibes, like Magic the Gathering,
Yeah.
where like I'm gonna
It-
give a
it's-
small rundown of one of my favorite commanders in Magic the Gathering really quick.
Oh no.
His name is Bello, Bard of the
Oh
Brambles.
my god.
His ability states that during your turn, any non equipment or non aura artifact or enchantment that is mana 4 or greater is like a 4/4 with indestructible. It becomes an elemental creature. Now, there are these enchantments that when they come into play, if they came into play from your graveyard, they have this. They have a new rules text put onto themselves. Essentially, they say the first time they die, they come back to life, and they come back to life with the rules text that say it's an enchantment. It is not a creature. If that comes into play after Bello was in play, Bello's timestamp is in place first, so its activation requirement is there. But then since the other one is on top of it, that's the new one. So because the thing that says it's not an enchantment, you go backwards. So you go Bellows trying to make it a 4/4 creature, and then the other thing says it's not a creature. So it's
Mm.
just nothing. It's just not a creature.
You're
Um so
nothing.
so from like Magic
It's true on
standpoint,
purpose.
you would go backwards and you would go Usopp meets activation requirement. New requirement says minus whatever. So you just give the minus, but this thing is still here, right? This thing was here. But then we get into a weird thing where now this doesn't meet its requirement anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like where do you go from there? That's the weird part, right? It's because
Yeah.
it's not an activation requirement because
It's
it's
a
a
static
static
effect. Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
It's a static effect. So I get where people are like arguing about it because it's super fair to argue about stuff like that because it's like, shouldn't the card just always be checking? Like as soon as it's seen that the card is a 2 cost or above. But it's like, again, the game is specific enough that they should have freaking written original. They
Yeah.
should have just written a Dressrosa card with an original cost of whatever is +1. I think that's just like an oversight on their part.
Yeah.
I think that's an oversight, but like I saw enough judges like arguing that like they're both simultaneous effects, but like eShows has an activation requirement where you need a dawn on it, and the other one is just always on. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
goes ultimately it goes back to the like the analogy of checkpoints. Like both are in the checkpoint, but neither want to leave. So it's like hard because there's no specification of what takes precedent over turn player priority or like types of card effects.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
Mhm.
very interesting.
It's a tough one. I guess we'll see. Hopefully,
We'll
Bandai
see.
sends an email back. I saw the end
Yeah,
of the thread. I saw the end of the thread where he sent an email. So, hopefully
fingers
Bandai
crossed.
gets back. I'm surprised. Like no. Okay. I'm surprised no Japanese players got back with like anything like that, or like just no Asia players or anything like that got
No
Yeah,
back
one
it's one
with
of
plays
those.
information
Isha
like
in
that, right?
OP10. That card sucks.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess no one plays a cost lowering effect on their opponent in OP10. Like, ain't
No
nobody
Usopp
using Ice
mirror says
Age.
that. Or they just
Yeah, I don't
assume it's
know.
always +1.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering. So I swear I heard like some rumor recently that like apparently like there's some places in Asia where like their judges just like don't know anything.
Dang.
Oh.
Oh.
I've heard some stuff about that like over there like there's no like proper program.
It's a
Like
lawless land.
Uh,
like it's like, hey, you want to be a judge? You got it.
yeah, I'm just gonna say that I'm a judge. Is just say, no, yeah, you play this card, I think you lose.
I'm glad we have like a program and stuff here where
Mhm.
like this stuff is very organized. Um I think I would like them for like the judge program for Bandai to like, to be fair, it's run by the organized play system and it's
Mhm.
like not like entirely on Bandai to do any of that stuff. So it's not their fault and it's not like organized play's fault or anything. I'm grateful we have a judge program at all because I love that stuff. I love when games have judge programs because I like immediately go and go, am I dumb? I just go in there and every game I play, I take the judge test. I'm just like, I gotta to see if I know my stuff.
You should proctor a judge test on the three of us, see if we can pass as
Oh,
judges.
not gonna lie, I failed the first time. I had to
Mm,
take it again to pass it.
mm.
I thought I
No,
knew the card game,
no,
but I was
I
like,
won't lie.
holy
I won't lie
shit.
either. So I failed the first time, and I was off by like one.
No, I was
Um,
hell off.
and I read the questions that I got wrong. I can't say what was on the test. That's
Hmm.
that's something I can't do. You can't do that. You could get in trouble.
That's suspension, yeah.
But I
You don't
didn't
have to tell
I
anyone.
didn't read something. I have test anxiety where like I feel like I have less time than I actually
Yeah.
Oh,
do,
okay.
and I
Oh no,
start
he's back, he's
speeding.
back.
I start speeding through stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, Anyways,
Cut out.
talking about test anxiety, sometimes I just speed through stuff a little too fast. Um, and I did that. I did that in my test, and I looked at one of the questions I got wrong, and it was literally just I didn't read it for long enough.
Hmm.
I did it was like the answer. It was like I literally went, oh, I knew the answer to that, but I read it too quick. Like that was dumb of me. Um, so and then I passed it the second time like super easy. Um, and then I'm also a judge for Pokemon. Passed that one first try, super easy. I was like, that one's easy. Yu-Gi-Oh! I passed a long time ago when I was a kid. That one was easy.
Well, what if you try to
Like,
take it right now with all these, walls of text of cards?
I could probably get it right.
Pendulums.
I
Stuff
can
like that is kind of weird, but like I keep track of like new Yu-Gi-Oh stuff still. It's like there's like some convoluted stuff in new Yu-Gi-Oh, but
Tempai Dragons.
it's not like incredibly like I think what I like about Yu-Gi-Oh a lot is that although yes the cards have like a shit ton of text on them, that's what's like good. Like you can read the card and generally like understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um
and and because it's been around so long, there's so much precedent as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's
weird
Yeah.
scenarios have been like brought up.
And
Yeah.
then a lot of
Like a
cards are
million
also just
times.
like, oh, this is just Stratos for X archetype. Oh, this is just Monster
The
Reborn for this
comparison of
archetype.
Stratos for everything. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
churches.
nowadays. But
Which be
but
like
yeah,
no one understands what they
I'm
just
glad we
said.
have I'm glad we have this judge program for One Piece, but I think I'd like
Ow.
there to be like higher level tests.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I think we should probably because right now, for the One Piece card game, there's just level one judge. Like there's no like, hey, take a level two test and look up like
Yeah.
rules infractions and stuff like that, or look up like more complicated rulings or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I would hope that eventually we get like a level two exam or something like that because I'd like to like um I definitely like that to happen because right now I mean like clearly there are judges that are like a level above the rest that have been recognized by the community, but there's no way to like do that outside of like people just acknowledgement, right?
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
So I don't know. I don't know. I'd like there to be like a little more to the program.
We should have a level 1. We have level 1 judges. We need level 2, level 3, Grand Arc Judge.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we already have the flying judge, man.
Flying Judge. All right. I want to move on to like one last thing before we.
Yeah.
So this is a little surprise that I want you guys to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I like sometimes you see on Reddit someone cooks up a leader, and it's like this is the most hottest garbage I've ever seen of a leader concept. But
Yeah, yeah.
I want us to try, off the top of our heads. I'll go first because I had this one in my
Oh.
mind. I want you guys to come up with a leader
Beautiful
in a
topic.
color combination, either monocolored or dual colored,
Mhm.
and see, let's judge each other's leaders, see if we're actually creative or not. But I wanted to go first, right? I want to do green black leader,
Okay.
His
Kuzan
two
leader,
favorite colors. Ooh,
Wait, who?
Kuzan.
Kuzan.
Ooh.
He's fast and he can slow his opponents with ice. But
Mm.
the thing is, I think okay, what we've explored with green so far, it's stuff that can rest on attack, stuff that can rest at a certain cost with Carrot.
Mhm.
Also with Perona, it can -1 or rest something, which is best of both worlds for green and black. We've also done Isha that does a blanket -1 and restand something, which is part of the green identity of restanding something. But I
Yeah.
thought, what if we made a green-black leader where you can... It's either on attack. Probably, I would say, on attack. Freeze a 4-cost or lower character. So it does not
Damn.
refresh for the next phase.
Or
Or...
I
No,
thought
no.
that was, I thought okay, that's just it.
I think maybe 4 is too high for it being in black.
No, I think four is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Screw it.
But
You're already there. You know what I mean?
And now
Like,
my other thing is like, would it be a Blackbeard leader or would it be a Navy leader?
former Navy.
Former Navy, because does
Former Navy,
that
yeah.
include the
Blackbeard.
if your leader includes the Navy type, would that
Yeah.
be part of the archetype?
Yeah.
So why not
feel
former Navy and Blackbeard?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny because like now that you brought that up, I've been thinking about a funny fucking leader too. I wanted a purple yellow Kata leader. A purple yellow
Okay.
Kata. This might break it on. Oh, actually, no, not really, because pudding's here. So I've really liked the use of observation hockey in the mono yellow version of it. But I really thought of what if I was doing the same thing as mono yellow Kata, but instead I have to attach two Dawn, and your opponent reveals a card in their hand, and if they play it, you ramp one.
Oh,
It's kind of bad. It's kind of bad, not gonna lie, in terms
Mm.
of card design because they simply just don't play the card. You don't ramp it. You don't get any benefit. It
I
could probably
guess.
be just. It could be just an activate main, just make it even a little
It
bit
could
better.
be. It can be a little bit difficult to keep track of like,
Yeah.
like is it that one specific card or is it any card with that name?
So the reason why I thought about that kind of card design was not only because of observation hockey, but I thought about there's not been a leader that takes advantage of hand knowledge and mapping. There's like
No.
there's been like leaders where we can rip cards in hand, but that's the most we can do in terms of interacting with hand. But
Yeah.
I really like to think about those times where, like in Pokemon, a good card would be to think about is Periscope. You could just look at your opponent's hand. And
Yeah.
there's not many decks, or especially in One Piece, that cards that interact with your opponent's hand other than just ripping them from hand at random.
The only
Yeah.
card that I can think of that actually lets you look at your opponent's hand is Morgan's.
Morgan, yeah,
Yeah,
see,
that's
what
the
I was
only
gonna
card
bring.
that does
Morgan,
that, as far as I know.
yeah, I was thinking that, like, why not put that onto a kata or observation hockey user? Make that a thing to where now that if you can map their hand, and if they play that mapped card, like they have to keep it revealed, then it punishes them. And see, that would be me over buffing the leader. Would be if they don't play the card, draw a card. You are a
Mm.
4 life leader. If they play the card, you ramp. But it's kind of
Mm.
like I feel like if it were to be a when attacking, it would have to be like a 2 times play, like something around that, because it's like you're getting a reward out of either. But it's ultimately, I think it's just that's very oversaturated just because of the fact that you get hand knowledge and you get a reward at the end of it.
Yeah.
So
It is
it
kinda
would
s-
have to
it
be
is kinda
it has to
nutty.
be tuned a particular way. I think I'm
Mhm.
just a little biased for like for Kata too, so.
Mm-hmm.
Still fuck yellow. I hate yellow.
Oh,
I still hate losing the Veggie in a zero cost event in life. Ah.
and you're gonna see
I
more
think this is
annals.
yeah, I think that's my biggest gripe too, because it's just I keep losing to fucking just I'm just gonna put the Veggie to the bottom with the zero cost event. And now that we have the 2 cost event that just searches every top end for yellow, I'm just dreading just being like, oh, here comes 10 drop ace. Here comes, oh, he top decked the Kata off that. I can't wait for my life to be something to be put there.
God. It's gonna be, I think, something that can. There has to be a leader that lets you like look at hand or some cards in hand at some point, because I feel like the idea of Morgans as a card as an effect is very interesting. Or what if it's like, I'll
It's a
go with
purple black. It's a purple black leader. It says activate main. You may ramp one Dawn from your Dawn deck. Activate it or active once per turn, right? But your opponent can reveal 2 cards from their hand instead, right?
Oh, that's a
Mm.
good
Then that way,
trade-off.
because then it's like, okay, do you want me to ramp and play like a big drop this turn, or do you want to give me
What?
2 cards?
Yeah.
Right. And so
You
I
ramp
think
active, right?
yeah, and you ramp it active and it's activate main. I think a purple black leader that does that would be pretty cool. Could be
That'd be
Isho, which would
sick.
be really funny.
Ooh,
No,
purple black
revamp Z!
Isho.
Revamp Z!
Revamp.
I want Zephyr!
man. That'd be funny. Well, I guess that's my leader.
Purple black Isho.
That was a
I was
pretty good
sitting-
one.
We couldn't do.
I
We
was-
couldn't cut it with green black Isho. You know.
He couldn't, no. But yeah, like, yeah, I was sitting there thinking the entire time, and then we were talking about hand knowledge, and I was like, this is like as simple as it gets. There's a downside and a plus side, right? So if you don't ramp, you're like, I know what those two cards are. They're bricks. I'm gonna keep swinging at him. And then it's like if you ramp, you're like, cool. Now I get to play on curve. You know.
What if it's like,
Yeah.
in order to make it so that your opponent doesn't just, show you the same two cards every time? What if you get to pick two cards from their hand, and your opponent can show those cards so you don't ramp?
Or your opponent may reveal two cards from their hand, trash one. Broken.
Wait, hold on.
That way
That sounds a little bit broken.
Yeah,
That's
that does.
a little
I think
bit
that's
rough.
broken. We've crossed the line now.
I think we just.
I feel like because there's no counterplay to that, your opponent should be allowed to just reveal the same two cards over and over. And
Yeah.
over again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you, I feel like that's fair. Where it's like, yeah, man, it's cool.
But if they have to trash one, they can't reveal the same two.
Oh,
It's-
that's true.
No, exactly,
Wait.
that's why I'm saying, like,
They got to
if
give you a
wanna
new
prevent-
one every time.
Exactly. If you want to prevent it, and then dude, that could be the ultimate starve deck too. You go, all right, I trash from your hand, pass.
Oh, that
That's
punishes,
gross.
dude, and it has access to purple, so that means it punishes them. So they have to pitch it because if they want to play around law and also still really consider like, oh, he could easily map this in my hand now because he already knows what two cards are. If I don't pitch these said two cards, he's just gonna law me. That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
That puts a lot of thought.
I'm a demon when it comes to leaders. I like broken leaders because they're always gonna ban the leader if it's too broken anyway. So I'm like, fuck it, dude. Let's just make some broken ass leaders, baby. Fuck it,
That's
why
fair.
not? And so like that's why I'm like, okay, just like make them trash the card, and then if people are like, this leader fucking sucks to play against, they'll ban it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over here in the West, we complain so hard, we get pretty much whatever we want. It's
We
like
get our
people
own
that stop-
formats here in the West.
Yeah, we get our own
Yeah.
formats. We're literally stopping the entire subway because we're late to work, but everybody else is on time. We're like, hold on, wait, I need to catch this one, otherwise I'm late. You know what I mean? Like we're literally those guys. So like, like in the West,
Where do we?
which I despise, but I mean like screw it, man. That's their philosophy when it comes to banning stuff is we will only ban leaders, we'll limit SRs and like whatever else
Yeah.
they get touched, but like that's it, right? You know,
I think Blackbeard was
certainly broken
created
cards.
specifically so cards don't get banned.
Yeah, I agree.
feel
I
like
agree. And
that's-
limited, right?
Like, what do you
Mhm.
mean you're gonna complain about this card? Blackbeard exists.
Why are you complaining?
You can't complain about Gecko anymore. Just go play against Blackbeard.
That's such a boogeyman. Like I love when game designers and just like players in general play the game. Like I love this game. I can't wait for them to release more cards. And then the big crazy N word comes negate.
What?
The gate comes in and they're like, wait, I can't play.
Oh,
I can't play. It's such a boogeyman word in like
Hey.
play style.
The way you screwed that up, though, Mark, you're not allowed to say that
I
ever
was like,
again.
yeah.
That was your one. That was your one. The whole like.
I think it's
God,
not
bro.
raggy.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's just a big funny because of that too, because a lot of people weren't really prepared for this because like all card design aside, like you can make all these crazy leaders, but right when you introduce floodgate effects, that's when people start shaking. They're like, "Oh my fucking god, I can't
People
do
hate
these
floodgates,
effects."
man.
Yeah, it's in any card game that has any form of floodgates, especially in negation, like it really puts people upside down, and it really challenges not only deck building philosophy but
Blackbeard is
also
literally
player
skill
tests.
drain, bro.
Yeah,
Level limit
it
area
is.
B. Woo.
Bro's literally just like skill drain.
Yeah. Watch
You're
next thing
basically-
next.
You're basically paying 1,000 life points to activate it every turn because you got to discard
Exactly.
a
You
card.
discard a card.
Yeah.
Also, wait, when you think about it, 10 cost teaches low key like wall of revealing light as well.
It kind of is, especially when there's no board. That's
Yeah, when there's-
right.
When there's
So
no
when-
board, you're just like,
So when they like negate your big drop and then also prevent it from attacking, you're like, you want me to
Yeah.
10 Dawn to my leader to swing at you? What
What's
the
that
hell?
one trap card that it has like all the monsters upside down ice? It's like every monster's 4 and high,
Oh
levels
my
4 and
gosh,
higher
it's like
can't
layer
attack.
of like the
Yeah,
super organism or something.
Oh,
yeah.
gravity bind.
Yeah.
Gravity bind.
Gravity bug.
Gravity bind. There's
Well,
that, but
Gravity Bind is just all level
Or
4
higher.
or highers are in defense mode.
it's like
But you
dwelling
are
of the
talking
ancient super
about
organism.
yeah, it's like this soup. Yeah. It is like super ancient.
It's a
Yeah, it's a
stupid name.
stupid name, but it is like something super ancient organism, something like that.
Grave of the
Yeah.
super ancient organism level 6 or
Yeah,
higher.
Grave of the
the
super
special
ancient
summon monsters on
organism.
the field cannot declare attacks nor can player activate their effects. That sounds like a Blackbeard card.
It is.
That
It is
is
literally a
a
Blackbeard
Blackbeard
card,
card.
and that
Nor
was.
can they
You know
activate their
why
effects.
I remember that card is because I played that card during the Great Synchro era, and I was like, I'm tired of these synchros. Fuck this shit. I
Yeah.
hate this game. And I was like, I'm gonna play this card. And people were like, what does that do? And I'm like, do you want to play the game? I didn't think so.
It's not time to play the game.
Not
Cock and
time
ball
to
torture
play the
before your
game.
homie. Bring it back.
But
Uh,
going back to like designing leaders and stuff real quick, like I am absolutely awful at designing leaders because, like I said, I like them to be broken. I much prefer designing cards, like because
Yeah.
they're easier, right? There's no dual colored main deck cards yet, but
Colorless
there's no
cards.
dual colored, yeah. There's no dual colored main deck cards. There's no colorless cards, right? That are just super generic and can be put into every single deck, right? So,
Yeah.
and before we get super counter, where it's actually a plus 3K, that's just
Dragon
like
Ball?
How
for
long
any
until
any
One
deck.
Piece developed its own The One Ring card?
Oh, wait, like a chase card like that, where it's
No,
like,
like
what? Oh, like the
a
meta define.
colorless 4-drop indestructible immunity or protection from everything draw engine. It's just like
Yeah, you know what? I think it's,
Give it 4
to
years.
chime in. Yeah, give it 4 years. I think they don't ever. I don't think they're ever gonna introduce a card that ignores color requirement because they really. I feel like Bandai would be too lazy to really take into consideration like,
The balance.
oh, we have to balance this card for every color. Like
They
yeah.
can barely do it for one.
It could be generically good for every color, but it could be absurdly broken for one, depending on the deck and the color. So I think they're too lazy to be able to make card design like that. But if they could, they would. But it'd probably be E-banned, like in an instant. And knowing how the E-banned read during that our OP02 format, I don't think they're gonna want to design a card and then have to do that as a mistake again.
Well, they didn't E-ban in OPO2.
It was in
Oh,
tail end
banned
of OP04.
03 and then
Right.
E-ban emergency ban 04.
Yeah.
And honestly, the dumbest thing ever. But I mean, like, honestly, I think we talked about it before. I kind of wish they just did that with Gecko until like 8.5,
Yeah.
right? It just like
They're
dude,
definitely not hitting it now. We're seeing
No,
the
there's
effects
no
of it in
point.
this.
there's no point, right?
There's no
Like
point.
people are already getting off of BY and Lucci because they're terrified of Blackbeard. But then once people realize that they ain't built to play that deck for like 9 rounds straight, I mean, we'll see
Am
Lucci
I
come
built
back.
to play Blackbeard for 9 rounds straight?
Am I built to go?
Can I mentally go through doing cock-a-ball torture my opponents for 9 rounds straight?
I love freezing and controlling the board. Oh my god. I love nullifying the gates. Oh, I love playing with at most 5 cards in my hand at any given moment. Oh, please don't swing at me.
Shit, I forgot to delete our ability!
Black
Dude,
hole.
I'm gonna fucking eat that shit up, dude. When my
Dude.
opponent goes past, I'm gonna check their trash and be like, "Oh, would you look at that? No leader effect."
Would you
huh?"
look at that?
Black hole.
Dude, fucking round 7, you're on 4 hours of sleep, and it's just like, alright, I play 10 drop, negate leader, that guy can attack, pass. And your opponent's like, you did a black hole.
I definitely think that going back to a previous topic we talked about in terms of like etiquette and just overall gameplay social norms would be to start normalizing the use of just in general dice. Like we have the benefit of being allowed to use markers and signifying in the card game, where most card games like Yu-Gi-Oh aren't even allowed to do that. Where we should use something that like notifies it.
Yeah.
And like
Then
we're
you're not
even
even allowed to use like dice.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like that's why I wish there was more of it readily available peripherals or accessories that allow you to just keep track of stuff like that, like from TCG Evolutions. I wish that like
Yeah.
LGSs would normally have stuff for that for their designated games, or at least Bandai would make it an official product like it. Because this is very
Mm-hmm.
intuitive and smart, especially in a
Yeah.
card game that requires like lots of memorization in terms of either like card mapping or just like effects.
Power
It,
But
plus,
at the
Yeah.
same
minus
time,
cost,
hey,
plus cost.
Hey, you just be a better player. Just remember, you fucking bozo.
yeah, it's a double-edged sword. What if you're just like, what if you just remember better? And it's like, say you're that one Blackbeard player that instead of having like 4 and 4 cards under a graveyard, you just have it all in one stack, and it's like, all right, I swing
The
9
psyche
with
game.
Jesus.
Did I play? The psychological game. Damn, dude. Like Blackbeard. Like I did the effect. I swear. Look at guys to this card.
Hey, Blackbeard's not once per turn, so you can just do it again if you're not sure.
I pitched those 2 cards because I did it twice just to make sure.
I think I said that to Panda. He was like, we were playing late one night, and he was just like, "Fuck, I don't remember if I did leader bit," and I was like, "It's free to do it again." Paid on for it. Fuck it, just do it again.
Yeah, it goes to the psychological warfare. So I don't know. I like not confirming or denying whether or not your opponent did it, and just
No.
kind of reverse
Oh my
gaslighting them
God.
to be like,
Dude,
I don't know, dude.
no,
Maybe
no,
you
no,
should
no,
do
no, no, dude. Like round 6, round 7, you're just like to your opponent, you're like, "Hey, did I do leader ability?" And they're like, "I don't know."
it. The
Let's
mental
just say I
gymnastics.
did.
Plays that. You gotta play the mental
Even
gymnastics.
thought, oh my god! And also, what I told Panda to do, I was like, I'm not gonna lie. If you're playing Blackbeard for 9 rounds straight, you should literally every time you use leader effect say leader effect, so I don't forget.
Yeah,
Every
that's what I've been saying.
You
Holy
will-
shit.
yeah, you will
Leader
get into
ability,
your
so don't
opponent's
forget.
head.
Leader
I'm
ability,
like-
so I don't forget. Sorry,
And
I
I'm
keep
like, I'm not
interrupting.
saying it. I'm not saying it because like I was getting pissed off, but I'm just like, if I didn't know you and you were doing that every single turn, I'd be like, I fucking hate this guy. I never play this Blackbeard again, dude. If every
my
single
God,
one of
bro.
them is gonna go leader effects, so I don't forget. I'll do it right there, right in front of him, and
Nah,
I'll be
bro.
like, "You're fucked."
next whenever February, March regionals happen, bro, and if I play against a Blackbeard in a late round and I'm playing Ploofy and they forget to do it and I'm on like 9 Dawn, I'm just gonna hit them with the I'm just gonna go crazy, bro. I'm just gonna be the cringiest motherfucker of all time. I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be like draw? Baka.
He did it.
Oh my god.
He did it. He done did it. Oh,
I'm just gonna hit them with the 9-drop Luffy and they're gonna go
clip the mic. Oh, God.
bro, I
Wait,
don't know, man. I'm sure
Wait, Richard,
I'm
what's
sure
your
that
leader?
I'm sure that's
Yeah.
part of the skill of like playing that deck, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is like remembering to do stuff like that because like no,
Well, it also
man.
makes sense in like in One Piece, right? Because you can't do note taking. It makes zero sense in Yu-Gi-Oh because you could literally like write everything down.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
you could
He's
borderline
writing
write
for
like,
time.
everything down.
He's writing for time.
yeah, in Pokemon you're allowed to write stuff down too.
So it makes it's a little bit different in Pokemon because there's literally like damage counters and like poison and
Oh, I meant like prize checking and stuff like that.
oh yeah no
You can
there's
like
that as
you
well,
can like
right?
write stuff down.
Yeah, but it's like there's also like integrated mechanics where it's like you probably should mark that just so you don't forget.
Yeah.
I mean,
Super
they understand that kids are playing the game too, and it makes it a little bit more interactive, right? Where it's like, oh, that's poison, so I put poison counter on it, right?
Yeah.
That's paralyzed or whatever, right?
They do
So-
make some things a little more interactive like that.
But it's like with One Piece, it makes a little bit more sense because it's like you can't write anything down, you can't mark anything, so it's just like, fuck it, either you did it or you didn't.
Yeah,
I
basically.
can neither confirm or deny that you did that, so you should probably do it again.
Now here's the
I
thing,
plead the
right?
fifth.
Now here's the thing, right? That gets a little dicey, right? Because technically, it's against the rules to misconstrue the board state. So I feel like if your opponent calls a judge, and this is where things get dicey, because if they call a judge, and you really want the edge, right? like, I guess technically, like, even if you did see it happen, like,
If you ask and they don't remember,
like, it's just one of those things, right? Where, like, if they ask you, like, they can't go into your memory banks and be like, I saw that you saw it. Like, there's no
exactly,
way.
yeah.
It's literally a like
He said, she
he
said.
said, she said, and that's like that's why people need that stuff, right? I
Yeah,
think
I
I
agree.
think like everyone should have, whether it be like one of those little half marbles from like Mancala or something, bro. Something. Just like use it to put on your leader so that you know you did the effect.
Richard just unlocked a childhood memory. I did like the whole Ratatouille sequence.
Oh.
And when he done,
All
like,
right,
I was like picturing the Moncala.
let's what is it? Richard, tell us your leader, and then we'll sign off here.
Wrap it up.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's
It's Ploofy 2.0. I don't have to take a life. I just ramp. I just ramp.
just make it broken.
I search out my top end and I ramp as well.
No, it's literally, you know how they have SC21 Red Luffy, which is just better Red Luffy.
Dude,
Oh.
Just purple
Dude,
Luffy.
it's
Hey,
so
take
funny.
2 life, ramp 2.
it's so funny, right? Because like I don't know, like I'd want it to be some weird combination of like the law shenanigans, but also being able to ramp, and then I'm like, wait, that's just red purple law. I'm like,
we already
that was,
had that deck.
I'm like, sorry, that was already a problem.
Roll a dice between 1 and 6. I either
Look.
ramp or I
Look.
or I shambles.
Oh, you know what?
Like, I like how that deck played, but like realistically, I didn't play.
No way.
No.
Hey.
Richard, come back.
Richard! Alright,
No.
alright. I think he's dead, but
No.
alright.
Wait, he's coming back. He's coming back.
Is he?
Feller.
What?
He's coming back.
He
Richard.
told us to stop. It's time to stop. Alright. Oh. Alright. I think we gotta cut it off there. We've been over
you
an
go.
hour in there, but holy shit, guys. Great episode. I thoroughly enjoyed talking with y'all. It's great to do another episode. We'll try to do it every 2 weeks. We've just been busy with like work, finals. And...
School's over. I play One Piece all day now.
I got so sick, dude. It was fun.
And I just have work with like concerts and shit. So yeah, we'll see you all later. Thank you so much for listening. Signing off here. Take care, y'all.
Oh.
Bye.